Welcome to another presentation of the Solid Sports video blog. Today is October 14th, 2017. This is episode 37. Thank you so much for joining me. Solid the Assassin on YouTube, but my name is Troy West. Thank you so much for watching. Big blog today. A lot of stuff happened this week in the world of sports. Of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs are now in the League Championship Series. Yankees and Astros played game one last night. What a game that was, as the Astros take a 1-0 lead. The NLCS is set up. It starts tonight with the Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs, so that should be a good series. And I think that was a rematch from last season as well in the National League Championship Series. The NBA starts on Tuesday. I have a special blog about the NBA, but I'm still talk a little bit about that today. My top 5 teams right now in the NBA. And Joel Embiid got his money as he got a big extension. Of course, I covered NFL Week 6. A lot of interesting games on the docket this week. And just my final thoughts. Of course, if you're a college football fan, a lot of crazy stuff happened last night. 2 top 10 teams went down. So today should be interesting in college football as well. But first, we always start with baseball. Just to get it out the way. Of course, the Yankees and the Astros kicked off the American League Championship Series last night with the Astros winning 2-1. I watched pretty much the whole game. Dallas Keuchel looked sharp, carried the Astros through. Jose Altuve is unbelievable. He's definitely making this case for MVP here in the playoffs. He continued to be hot. I think he had 3 hits last night. Scored both of the Astros runs, I believe. Yankees got made it interesting in the ninth. Greg Bird had a solo home run, but pretty much Houston dominated, especially Keuchel. And they take a 1-0 lead. Of course, the Astros finished off Boston in 4 games, and Yankees came back from an 0-2 hole to the Indians, a team that I really thought was going to win it, honestly, even though I still picked the Dodgers because I picked them in the beginning of the season. But they looked like the best team going in, but they lost another 2-game lead. They lost a 3-1 lead in the World Series last year, then turn around and lose this series lead. So devastated for the Indians fans. But the Yankees right now down 1-0 to none in the American League Championship Series. The National League, of course, I mentioned the Dodgers and the Cubs. Cubs won a thrilling Game 5 the other day to move on. Dodgers swept Arizona, pretty much dominated the Diamondbacks, and got a lot of days off. So Kershaw should be sharp and ready tonight. I think the Cubs ain't announced they started officially yet, but I think they was leading towards John Lackey, I've heard. So. Of course, he has playoff experience, so should be a good series and a good game tonight. So I try to check both of those out. Yankees play early. I think the Yankees and the Astros play the afternoon today for Game 2. So, and then tomorrow will probably be just the Cubs and the Dodgers. Probably another primetime game tomorrow night. So the baseball playoffs off to full swing. As I mentioned, other than the Indians, I've been wrong. I did have Houston moving on. I had the Dodgers. I had the Nationals beating the Cubs, and the Nationals sort of blew it. So my only World Series team that's left is the Dodgers. So I'm still going to stick with them. I haven't changed my mind. This Astros Yankees series. To me, it's a coin flip. We'll see what happens in Game 2. But Houston looks pretty good though. Look like they probably will move on. If I had to choose right now, I'll go with Houston to win that series. I'm still going to stick with the Dodgers in the American League. Okay, so that's it for baseball. Of course, I try to fit it in every day. Well, every week during my Saturday blog. But we move on to the NBA. Of course, NBA season starts Tuesday. Like I said, I'm going to do a special blog on that. I got to get my notes together for that. Give you just a season preview, who I think will make the playoffs. Probably predict who I think MVP will be. A real exciting NBA season. A lot of moves, of course, was made in the off season. especially in the Western Conference. I list my top 5 NBA teams, but first I'm going to talk about Joel Embiid. Got the big extension, 5 years. I think it was about $153 million, around that. They saying there's a lot of incentives in the contract, which is understandable. He's been injured. I think it's his 4th year. He only played 31 games. But he's looked sharp during the preseason as well. He looked real well. When he's healthy, he's definitely one of the best big men in the league. So we'll see if he can stay on the court. Bill Simmons for the Sixers is ready to go this year. This is his first year playing, even though he got drafted last year, missed all of last year. And of course you got Markelle Fultz. So, excited team in Philadelphia, young team. We'll see what they can do during the season. But to get back to Embiid, I don't have a problem with the contract. A lot of people say maybe he should have waited, because it's injury history. But basically, the Sixers franchise is, he got help with Simmons and Fultz. And of course, they signed JJ Redick. And they look like a good team. They look like they should at least be a playoff team in the East. But he was their franchise player. He was the reason they trusted the process. So it wouldn't have looked good if you didn't give it to him. Then you might be getting the better cheap, because in a few years his max would be bigger. So you might could get him with a bargain the next few years, because most of max contracts is almost $40 million a year. It's probably gonna keep going up. So he'd be worth it if he performs. So I think it was the right move for the Sixers. Then they got the stimulations in the contract. So if he does go down and get hurt, they're covered. So, but I think it's a reward. I don't really think it's a big risk at all. So we'll see if he performs through the contract. I think he will. He's motivated. I like his. He likes to compete. He's been talking trash to people during the preseason. I think I saw some highlights last night, him talking to my side of the Miami Heat, going at it with him. He's supposed to be one of the big defensive players in this league. But I like Embiid. I like his attitude. Sixers will be a team I'll be looking at during the season. They got a lot of, they gave him some TV games this year, so maybe I can catch a couple of their games on national television. But to move on, I listed my top 5 NBA teams for this season, at least going into the season. I started at number 5. Of course, there's been a whole lot of moves, and the Rockets made pretty much one of the big first moves. They're number 5 on my list by getting Chris Paul paired with James Harden. Houston's going to be an interesting team, because before the Thunder made their moves, they was pretty much, the second team everybody was looking at to maybe push the Warriors a little bit. But now that the Thunder's made their move, it's going to be very interesting out west. But the way that Mike D'Antoni, the coach, run his offense, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. They're going to score a lot of points. They still got Eric Gordon, one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. The bench probably be an issue. But we still got Ryan Anderson, still got 3-point shooters. So they still going to be a team to be reckoned with. And then Harden and Paul can score when they want to. So I think overall they're the 5th best team in the NBA. Number 4, the San Antonio Spurs. Even though I just found out Kawhi Leonard won't be starting the season. He won't start. They opener. They say he's still out. It's a calf injury. But the Spurs is always a well-oiled machine. LaMarcus Aldridge looked a little bit better. It's just preseason, but he looks a little bit better, like he's happy again. He was unhappy with his role last year. Hopefully he plays better. They're going to need him to play better if they're going to take that next step. He's going to have to be the one that really elevate his game. But Kawhi Leonard, when he comes back, he's one of the best 2-way players in the league. He'll definitely be the anchor for the Spurs. Then you still got the veterans, Ginobili, Tony Parker, and they got a lot of young guys. Let's see, they was on TV last night. I like their little young bench. Still got Patty Mills, so Still one of the top teams in the NBA that you can't discount. Greg Popovich. So they're going to be right there at the end. Again, probably be underestimated and exceed expectations. That's what they pretty much always do. Because I thought the Spurs been done for years. He was just Duncan retired. Well, Duncan just retired last year, but even during his last few years, them winning the championship, I didn't think they would ever get back to that far. So just learned not to doubt the Spurs. So I won't here. I give them 4th on my list. Number 3, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Very interesting. This is probably the most interesting team to me going into the season. If you've been watching my NBA Live video game playthrough, I'm playing with them on my franchise. Actually, I'm going to play a game with them today. Haven't done one in a couple of days. But anyway, them getting Paul George and getting Carmelo Anthony, that's the one that was a shock to me. Getting Carmelo. But it's going to be interesting because all 3 of these guys work together. Russell Westbrook as well. Work together. That's probably the biggest question, the elephant in the room. But I think Russell Westbrook will win, so I think he's going to somewhat change his game. He probably won't be as aggressive for offense unless it's needed. But Paul George could score and can play defense. It's a little underrated to me, maybe because, you know, when you don't win, you know, people look at you a lot differently. But he's definitely one of the best two-way players in the league as well. And Melo, he's on his ladder of his career, but he still can score the basketball. And he might be motivated than just to get out of New York and all the drama that was there. So they're gonna be a real interesting team. As far as the other pieces around them, Roberson got to step up. And so does Steven Adams. I think he's going to be like the X factor. If he plays very well, I think they could be a dominant team. But we'll see. I'm very interested in this team. This is a team I definitely want to watch as much as possible. See if everything works out. Thunder at number 3 on my list. Number 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The only Eastern Conference team on this list. No surprise. But they still got LeBron James. Just to start with that. I mean, he's still the best player in the world, in my opinion. Durant has a lot to say about that. Probably even other players that's coming up. But LeBron is still the king when it comes to being the best player. And I think Cleveland got a better team this year, despite them trading Kyrie Irving to Boston. Like I said, everybody's doubting Derrick Rose. I like Derrick Rose, and I understand why people doubt him, but I really think Derrick Rose is not done. And the way he's looked, like I said, I know it's just preseason, but he's still a former MVP in this league. So, yeah, he has injuries, and sometimes, like, my problem with him has been, like, is he really into it? Is he really focused and want to play? That's my only gripe with him. But when he want to play, and if he's healthy, he's one of the best players, not just point guards, in this league. So if he could be anything like he was in the past, that's a big acquisition. They get D Wade. D Wade is past his prime, but he's still D Wade. Jeff Green is a big pickup. They just traded Richard Jefferson yesterday to Atlanta. I think he might just go and retire. They say they're going to release him anyway. I guess Atlanta just was trying to dump off money. I don't know what the point is. But they traded for 2 guys. They gave Cleveland some draft picks, but then if they're going to cut both of the guys, what did they get? So I don't, I guess sometimes with the trade stuff, I'm not sure how Atlanta's benefiting from it. But basically, Cleveland, I think, saved some money. That's why they did it. But still got Shannon Fry, still got Tristan Coffin, J.R. Smith, all these guys coming off the bench. So they got a real deep bench. Good start lineup. They're going to move Kevin Love to the center position, which I think would be good overall. So Cleveland, a team to be reckoned with once again. LeBron up in the air for this week, though. I mean, for Tuesday's game with Boston to start the season, said his ankle. But I think he's going to play. I hope so. Because it's not going to look good, in my opinion, for him. Like he's ducking out Kyrie. But like I said, that's going to be an interesting matchup and a good, just a lot of intrigue to the season. But Cleveland still, to me, head, shoulders above in the East. East, if you look at the Eastern Conference, got a lot of good, decent teams, which I'll get more into it on Monday. But Cleveland's still definitely the best team out there, and they still number 2 on my list. The Eastern Conference champions 3 straight times. Had to get them on this list somehow. And of course, number 1, no surprise, the Golden State Warriors. Need I say more? Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. I think the only thing with the Warriors that you probably worry about is they still motivated. You know, they got, most of the guys got 2 rings. Kevin Durant finally get his first. Is they gonna have that same fire to compete? That'll be the only thing that stopped them, like in my opinion, or if somebody get hurt. Other than that, clearly the best team in the West still, even though all the moves was made. The Thunder's interesting, the Houston, the interesting. Spurs will still be right there, but other than those 3 teams, the rest of the West still is deep. Minnesota, don't forget about them. They made a lot of moves. That's why I can't wait till Monday to really get into everything. But Warriors still the best team. It's going to be if they still got that hunger to win, and I think they will. And they probably have another dominant season. Probably still win 60 games easy. So Warriors number 1. So the recap: Rockets 5, Spurs 4, Thunder number 3, Cavaliers 2nd, and the Warriors to me still the best team in the NBA. And like I said, check out my special sports blog. I'll be doing it Monday sometime, as I give you my playoff predictions and who I think will make it to the NBA Finals, and just a wall-to-wall preview. I at least try to touch on all 30 teams, even if it's just briefly. So you know what I think about your favorite team, regardless. So check that out on Monday. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the NFL. Week 6, of course, is upon us. The Thursday night game was good. Philly and Carolina didn't disappoint at all. Eagles with a big win. Pulling up my PCA Pick'em app here, as I give you my picks real quick as well. But to touch more on that game from Thursday, I watched most of it. I was flipping between that and the baseball game on Thursday night. But Eagles look pretty good. Definitely, to me, clearly the best team in the NFC East. There's no debate there. Dallas had their issues with Ezekiel Elliott might be back suspended again. Washington played decent this year, but they still just 2-2. They coming off a bye this week, and the Giants they're done. They lose Odell for the season and Brandon Marshall for the season. Still offensive line still bad. Then they play Denver this week. That probably be a slaughterhouse there. But Eagles, like I said, they seized the opportunity. They took advantage. Carolina still will be there. 4-2, not bad. See what Atlanta do this week. But I like the way Cam Newton been playing. So hopefully he keeps it up. If he does, Carolina will be right there at the end as well. But a good game overall. Philadelphia, like I said, we'll see. It's still early. 6 games is still pretty early. Still got 10 games left. But right now, it definitely looks sharp. So we'll see how things unfold from here on out. But let's get to the games for the weekend. Of course, I write games down on my notes, which I consider the big games for the week. But I touch on every game. I give you my pick. So first on my list, we have Atlanta and Miami Dolphins. So I just talked about the Falcons. Falcons at home. I got Atlanta winning this game. Dolphins offense will look pretty bad. They won last week, but I think mainly because Tennessee had a backup quarterback in there. Other than that, I think Tennessee probably would have beat them. The Dolphins offense looked horrible, so I think the Falcons probably win pretty easily at home. Ravens and Bears. Interesting game for both teams. Of course, now the Bears went to Mr. Trubisky, as the starter now. Ravens defense though played very, very good at home. I got the Ravens winning this game. I think they go rattle Trubisky a little bit. He might make a big play or two because they like to roll him out the pocket. But I think the Ravens will do enough. Still, like I said, still worried about the Ravens offense, even though it looked pretty decent last week. But still worried about their offense. So, until that offense is consistent, I don't think they're going to be consistent. But I think they win this game over the Bears. Texas and Browns. Browns 0-5 coming into it. Texas 2-3. I like Houston in this game. I think Deshaun Watson have another stellar game. Browns made a quarterback change. They go with Kevin Hogan, I think his name is. I thought his last name is Hogan. But to me, when he's played, he's looked pretty okay. So, but I think Houston will win. They probably force him to turn the ball over a couple of times. And Deshaun Watson the ball out again. I got Houston over the Browns this week. Lions and Saints. Actually, that made my list here. Interesting game. Saints 2-2. Lions are 3-2. Those Lions coming off a tough loss last week to the Panthers. Saints, of course, was off, but they destroyed the Panthers. So if you go by that, maybe I should be going with the Saints, but I'm going with the Lions here for some reason. I just think they're a different team. I think they're coming off loss. I think they'll be ready for this game. But we'd be shocked if the Saints win this game. This is a tough game for me to pick. Saints is 3.5 favorites, and they play a lot better at home. But I guess something in me just tells me to pick the Lions. I just think they still been a little bit more consistent than the Saints. And even though the Saints defense been playing a lot better as well, but there's something telling me to pick the Lions. I really don't have a dominant reason, just that they been more consistent. And it'll be a big win for them to keep up with the Packers in the NFC North. Speaking of the Packers, that's my next game, and that's on my list as well. Packers at the Vikings. Packers 4-1, Vikings 3-2 coming into the game. I got Green Bay winning, but this is a game you can't. Division games are always tough. Vikings have looked pretty decent, even with Case Keenum quarterbacking, but I think that's going to be the Achilles heel for this game. I think they ain't going to be able to keep up with the Packers by scoring. So I think Green Bay will win this game. I don't want to say easily, but I think it'll be at least by a touchdown or so. Aaron Rodgers definitely playing at an MVP level. But we'll see what Minnesota do. The offense look pretty good. Stephon Diggs not playing though. They said already ruled him out, and also Sam Bradford. That's why I mentioned Case Keenum. So I think the Vikings just going to be able to score enough points, and Green Bay will win the game. Patriots and Jets. Whoever think this will be a huge game on my list, but the Patriots are 9.5 favorites. Both teams come in 3-2. Jets and finding ways to win, which you would think they was going to do this year. But it's still the Patriots. I think this is going to be a wake-up call for both teams, the Jets and the Patriots. I think the Patriots win, take control of this division. But I think it's going to be closer to that 9.5. If I was betting, I guess, with the points, I would probably take the points. I think it'll be closer to the 9.5 point game, but I think the Patriots still will win this game. Brady, though, nursing a shoulder injury, so we got to look out for that, as the offensive line has been a little shaky. I think Gronk is still hurt, I believe. They say he practiced. I think they say he practiced this week, but we don't know if he's going to play. Of course, they still without Julian Amendola, always a question mark. So we'll see. But I think the Patriots will find a way to win this game, a close one. Say within 7 points or so. I think the Jets will compete. Redskins at 49ers. Niners are 0-5. Just like the Browns, they've been competing, but like I said, it's just not their time yet. I think Washington will win the game. They're at home. Like I said, they've been playing pretty decent despite being 2-2. Of course, the rumors have been about Kirk Cousins might wind up being a 49 in a few years, or maybe next year. We'll see. But 49ers cut Navarre Bowman. I seen that in the news. So that was big news. Like I said, the 49ers rebuilding, so it's not a shock that they 0-5, but they have been competing. And a lot of their games have been getting blown out. But I think Washington will control the game and win the game in DC. Rams and Jaguars. That's made it to my big game list. Jags are 2.5 favorites at home. Like this, how I felt about the Lions and the Saints game. I don't know why, but I'm gonna go with the Jags here, even though the Jags has been a disappointing team to me the last 2 years, because I basically said they was going to do something last year, but they didn't. But this year they started 3-2. Really should be 4-1, in my opinion. They let one of their games get away a couple of weeks ago. I forgot which one, but it's been their defense though. Their defense been pretty dominant. The Rams only. I mean, if the Rams, this is a game. If the Rams was at home, I probably would pick the Rams. But like I said, going from LA all the way to Jacksonville, I think that matters. Definitely, you know, the West Coast teams. I think the Jags offense will struggle a little bit again. I mean, the Rams, and I think the Jags will do just enough. But Blake Bortles, please, man, please step up your game, man. I know you don't have Allen Robinson. I know he's out for the year, but he got to step his game up. But I like Leonard Fournette. He's been proven to be advertised in the backfield. And the Rams do have a bad rushing defense, so I think the Jaguars are trying to control the clock, win the game on defense. I think they do enough, and they win at home. Buccaneers and Cardinals. I got the Buccaneers. The Cardinals, to me, they look worse than the 2-3 team. Buccaneers probably look a little bit better than the 2-2 team. So by virtue of that, then hopefully Jameis, like I said, Jameis just got cut off his turnovers. That's all. But he's a good quarterback. I think Carson Palmer is done, in my opinion. I think the Buccaneers go on the road and win in Arizona. Probably one of the biggest games of the week. Pittsburgh Steelers at 3-2 against the 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, of course, the only undefeated team left in football. 3.5 favorite in this game. Chiefs at home. I'm going with the Chiefs. Steelers just been too inconsistent. I don't think they're going to throw another 5 interceptions again, but I think he will struggle. I think they're going to try to get the ball to Le'Veon Bell. Maybe he can make a few plays here and there for him, but I think Pittsburgh will do just enough. I think Kareem Hunt will have another big game. I think Tyreek Hill will probably get another touchdown somehow, either punt return or long pass or something, just like they've been doing all year. And they'll edge out the Steelers. I think they'll win. 3.5 is a good spot, because I think it'll be around that 3 to 5 point game, something like that. Of course, the Chiefs are number 1 on my power rankings, so until they lose, they're not gonna move off of that spot. Steelers was in it for a while, but they fell out of it last week. If they win this game, they could be right back in it again. So we'll see. Big game though. Late afternoon in Kansas City. But I got the Chiefs winning. I just think they've been more consistent, and they get it done. Chargers and Raiders. Interesting game. It's not on my big game list, but it's an interesting game to me, because Derek Carr comes back. Raiders at home. You know, California been dealing with those wildfires, and my thoughts out to people who lost their lives, their homes and stuff. The air quality has been really bad, so just hope everybody that's dealing with that is doing okay. And my heart go out to the people that lost their lives. But the Raiders got the winning though. Chargers big win last week, but it was against the Giants. But Chargers are another team that sort of having a disappointing year, even though they're in a tough AFC West division. But I think the Raiders going to be rejuvenated by Carr returning. I think they win at home. Sunday night game, like I mentioned, Giants and the Broncos. I don't see how the Giants will score any points, man. I think the Broncos will. This probably be a shutout. I'm gonna be shocked. Broncos at home as well. They're gonna be dominant on defense. I don't know what Eli gonna do. He had nobody to throw the ball to. The running game is bad. Like I don't see how they're gonna score any points. I see the Broncos dominating this game. Like if you have, like I was about to say for fantasy, even though like I said I play fantasy myself, I'll be trying to talk about it when I do the games. But if you got the Broncos defense, you in good shape. You in good shape for this week. So like I said, I predicted a shutout. This is my lock pick of the week. Like this is a game I'm very comfortable with. So you can lock it up. Definitely Broncos dominating the Giants on Sunday night. And the Monday night game, Colts and Titans. I always put the Monday night games on my list. Actually, the spread is even, which is, can't argue with that. It's like a coin flip with this game. But I think Tennessee will win it. They're at home. I think they'll run the ball. Even though the Colts will look good with Jacoby Brissett, though. He's definitely proven that he could at least be a mid-level starter or definitely an excellent backup. If luck get right, they can flip him and trade him again, get something for him. But I think it'll be a close game, though. I think the Colts will stay in it. I just think the Tennessee gonna run the ball. I don't know about Mariota. I think his health still in jeopardy. But I think this will be a game the Titans will establish the run and win it at home. So that's it for week 6. All my picks. Of course, my pick'em still open, even though it's sort of too late to win. But if you just want to go on there and pick games against me every week, it's still fine. Just go back to my NFL's previous special episode, and all the information is there. If you still want to join my pool, and you got to download the ESPN Fantasy app, of course. Teams that is on buys this week: the Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys, Seattle Seahawks, and the Cincinnati Bengals. All 4 of those teams are off. So if you was looking for those teams, or if that's one of your favorite teams, you just forgot that they on bye. They're the 4 teams that's on bye this week. Alright, so let me wrap this video up with my final thoughts. Not really a lot to talk about. Like I was saying at the beginning of the blog, college football, very interesting. I was able to watch a little bit of Clemson Syracuse. Syracuse upset them last night. They did lose their starting quarterback, which I didn't know because I was flicking channels. And see, like every quarterback in the college football looks the same. That's why I'm not, like I said, I like college football, don't get me wrong. But they just don't intrigue me like the NFL does. But I did watch some of that game. Syracuse, give them credit regardless of the quarterback going down, of them winning. And then Washington State, which is eighth in the country, lost to University of California last night. Got dominated, really. 37-3 was the final score. I watched tail end of that game. That game was over about 2 in the morning here on the East Coast time, where I am. But they dominated. 7 turnovers by the Cougars. So, like I said, everybody pointed to Friday the 13th. I'm not a superstitious guy, but something was going on. Both of those teams go down. So I guess some teams better watch their backs today. In the Saturday slate of college football. I don't think it's any really big games other than Oklahoma, Texas, which is interesting. That's a game which is Oklahoma coming off a loss. That's the only reason why I think they're gonna beat Texas. In my opinion, if they was coming in there with winning, then maybe. But I think they're gonna be focused. Then it's a rivalry game, so I think Oklahoma gonna bounce back and play well. You got college football, you got the NHL. I mean, I try to get the NHL. That's why I sort of purposely wore my Detroit Red Wings hat. I'm not a Detroit Red Wings fan. I'm more of a Chicago Blackhawks fan and San Jose Sharks fan. Don't ask me how. I just like, mostly I like the uniforms and the colors. But then I do like the players. Of course, Chicago with Patrick Kane, Jonathan Towles, San Jose with Joe Thornton. So I try to follow hockey as much as I can. I'm trying to get into some of my blogs more deeply. But to be honest with you, I don't follow it enough that I know a lot. So that's why I try to stay away from it. And then I don't really get into hockey just like with baseball, even though I'm a bigger baseball fan than I am a hockey fan. But I don't get hockey, don't get real interested in me to the playoffs either. So, but I try to get a little bit of NHL in, as much as possible. But just to be honest, I'm definitely not an expert, or don't really have a lot that I could give to you by opinion. But one thing I've noticed, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which is a new expansion team, the tragedy that happened in Vegas. That was a good scene earlier this week. Them playing in front of the home fans. They undefeated. I think they played last night. I think they played the Red Wings last night. In fact, I'm gonna see if they won. Not sure if they won or not. But yeah. That's sort of good for the city. That they starting off 3-0. About to check out right now that they win. Nope, they lost. Red Wings won 6-3, but still, it was just good for those people that have a distraction from that tragedy that happened to them last, about 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. I just want to send my thoughts out to those people again, and the people in California dealing with the wildfires as well. Like I said, I'm about to end the blog just with a few reminders. Like I said, the NBA special preview, I'll be doing that sometime Monday, probably Monday morning-ish. I'm gonna try to get it knocked out. I gotta get my notes together for it though, as I predict what I think will happen this season. And then of course next Wednesday, speaking of the Chiefs, and I think it's the Chiefs and the Raiders next Thursday night. So I'll preview that game, and then next Thursday I'll be back with another weekly blog, which I review the baseball playoffs, which should be deep into the championship series by then. Might be already know who our World Series teams will be by then. And of course the first week of the NBA, so there'll be a lot to talk about next week. Week 7 games, so there'll be a lot again to talk about next week. As far as my other projects on my channel, my video game projects, of course, I'm gonna do a Madden and an NBA live video today for sure. I'm gonna try to get into Mega Man. That's the tip of my tongue. Mega Man 9, which I started. I was stuck on one of the stages, I ain't gonna lie. Tried to play it yesterday a couple of times. Got frustrated. I say I try it again, maybe today. Like I said, the Mega Man stages be very frustrating. So I tried that again today as well. Other than that, no immediate projects, no new immediate projects. Maybe other than World War II, which start the end of this month, or the early next month, I should say. Call of Duty. So, not a game very controversial if you're a Call of Duty player, because they sort of taking a step back as far as genres with the game. But I'm gonna give the game a shot. But I probably still play Infinite Warfare. Probably play them both for a while. So that's it for this week. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, all my loyal blog watchers. And last week blog didn't do too well, so hopefully more people will watch this week. Like I said, I just appreciate everybody that supports me, period. Like I said, if I ever do be very successful with YouTube, period, I definitely won't forget where I started from. But like I said, it's not my main goal. That's what I always preach all the time. Like I said, I wouldn't mind it, but it's not my main goal. And like I said, I'm not gonna. Like I said, I think some people manipulate people on here sometimes, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about giving you a good video for one, and for two, like this particular thing with the sports blog that I do is more therapeutic for myself, to be honest. But like I said, to make the blog better, I just need a little bit more interaction. If you're watching, even if you disagree about something, we can have a dialogue and, you know, make the blog a little bit better. So, but that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. Solid Day Assassin on YouTube, but my name is Troy West. I thank everybody for watching as always, all my loyal subscribers. And y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Enjoy the NFL games tomorrow. Enjoy the college football today. And I'll see you Monday, actually, for my NBA's preview special. Enjoy your weekend, and peace and love, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.